All right, we're live. Okay. Oh, jeez, my eyes are streaming. Um, so I'm going to do. This is on Jason Landry. Uh, he's missing. He was what, a Texas State student driving and stopped at a red light and kept going forward and wasn't like this. I don't know if you call it alley. Well, an alley is like another. Um, kind of like it took you out of town, kind of a country road. He got out of his car, he took his clothes off, I believe, and he wrecked his car, took his clothes off, and then ran, left his clothes behind. It's never seen before. I think it was like he was a college student, like 19, 20 years old, um, out of Texas. Um, Never found. I can't remember exactly when this happened. I think about 4 or 5 years ago. But I'm going to play some footage here that kind of catches up on it. I know his dad was a lawyer and I believe a preacher, and his dad has been actively looking for him, and I believe still is. Um, so let's go ahead and start this. And this is I don't know. This is news footage, one of the local news stations there in Texas, and I believe this is a vigil.
Years ago tomorrow, the community holding a vigil tonight in his honor. Landry was last seen in Luling. The circumstances behind his death are shrouded in a mysterious way. Now, tonight, in our Missing for the Holidays, a Season for Justice series, we revisit his case and investigate whether any traction has been made in the case so far.
We've been on this the whole time, too. Investigative reporter Yami Virhan has followed the case from the start. Tonight, Jason's family hopes a new search will finally bring some real answers.
Before he vanished, this is how friends and family remember Jason Landry. This is Jason's smiling face, full of life, a Tech State student excited to get home for the holidays. December 13th, Jason leaves Texas State University in San Marcos, just like thousands of college students are currently doing. He is going home. He starts a familiar drive towards his before midnight. His crashed car was found on a desolate gravel road outside Luling. His belongings scattered, but no sign of the 21-year-old. In the years since, the search for answers has expanded across agencies. The Texas Attorney General's Cold Case and Missing Persons Unit has now taken the lead, dedicating hundreds of investigative hours to the case. The investigation remains active and ongoing, and a new search is about to start.
We're going to be having a search right after the vigil, so that weekend upcoming, I guess. And law enforcement is working on they get leads in and out and work those. And I think they're working on another project, getting permission to do some further searching.
Kent Landry is Jason's father, a former prosecutor who's now a pastor.
We feel Jason's in heaven and I'll see him again when I get there.
Landry, through several retired federal agents, including Abel Peña of Project Absentees, believe someone does have information.
They all seem to feel like someone knows something. And so many of them that we've heard from believe very strongly that someone does know something. For me, I don't know, but it is interesting that so many of them feel very strongly that way, which would make me wonder if someone actually does know something and they just for 5 years have not been willing to come forward. Depends on what landowners get permission and what's going on. And what the weather's like. It makes a big difference if we've had a lot of rain or things like that. So I think it's certainly areas that have been searched, and they're going back and trying to search again.
Despite the years, the Landry family believes someone out there still holds a piece of the truth because of what locals have now said.
Someone knows something, which makes me go, well, those are the people who know best in terms of what happened, what the area where he disappeared, what happens around that area. And so many of them that we've heard from believe very strongly that someone does know something. For me, I don't know, but it is interesting that so many of them feel very strongly that way, which would make me wonder if someone actually does know something and they just for 5 years have not been willing to come forward.
We've got his backpack here, shirt and watch right there, shoes, and right up there is where his shorts and underwear are.
Dispatcher calls from that night reveal early investigative steps. They reached out to Verizon Wireless to ping his phone. Verizon reported coordinates placing Jason's phone on Hoover Street at 2 a.m., nearly 5 miles from where the car was discovered. Around that same time, dispatchers fielded a report of a possible naked male on nearby property.
I'm sorry, a possible naked dude? Is this the dude from the car accident? Yeah, that's what the fire guy said.
Now, 5 years later, the new searches could include this area if property owners finally give them permission to search.
Pretty much in the same area. They get, they're always, depends on what landowners get permission and what's going on. And, what the weather's like. It makes a big difference if we've had a lot of rain or things like that. So I think it's certainly areas that have been searched, and they're going back and trying to search again.
Since 2023, the AG's office has been looking for Jason.
They've been a blessing.
But with more than 50,000 unsolved cold cases, the Landry family knows resources are limited, even for the state. The holiday season remains the hardest. A new generation in the family grows up only seeing Jason in photographs.
My granddaughter, there's a picture of Jason who was on the screen, and she looked at it and she said, "Who's that?" And that just breaks your heart, because she's never going to get to know her Uncle Jason as a person, and he would be the fun uncle.
The Landrys have a reward for information on the whereabouts of their son. They hope someone will finally come forward.
$1,000, and we would love to write that check. It's it would be bittersweet to do it, but we would be so thankful to finally get some closure for our family.
As another year passes without answers, the Landrys continue pushing also for statewide consistency in how missing persons cases are handled, and for legislators to ask for someone whose job is to.
So there you go. December 13th, 2020, $10,000 reward. Be coming up on 6 years really soon since he's been missing. And then there's the number.
Keep families informed.
It would be nice if we could have more of a emphasis and resources on a statewide level.
At the 5-year vigil, the family will once again pray for answers and hope that year 6 brings the breakthrough they've waited for since the night Jason disappeared.
At
Yami
5, Jason
Virgen,
Landry.
Fox SA.
Yeah.
Left keys in there and it's all locked up.
He's completely naked wherever he's at. All right, how old did you get?
Time has
Yeah, I didn't come here and wanted to see his bag.
back to Missouri City. But yet it's also been so long. Because every day, that could be the day you get the call.
Jason Landry, a Texas State University student from Houston, disappeared Sunday, December 13th. His car was found crashed in a remote area outside Luling. Austin-based nonprofit Texas Search and Rescue combed the dotted landscape for 9 days with no sign of Landry.
Law enforcement sources are telling us that they now need your help to figure out what happened during the 67-minute window between the time they last have a digital footprint of Landry and where his vehicle was found crashed just after midnight on December 14th. Investigators say his last digital footprint was at the intersection of Austin Street and Magnolia in Luling. His car was found wrecked in the 2300 block of Salt Flat Road, about 5 miles away.
Backpack here. Shirt and watch
This
right
is
there.
footage here
See,
from
right
the
there is where his shorts and underwear are.
body cam.
Yeah, it's dead.
This video was of the night Jason Landry's crashed vehicle and belongings were found laid out along a desolate road in Luling, Texas. His car was found December 13th, 2020, around 11:30 p.m. There was no sign of the Texas State student.
We do believe he's possibly injured.
The Caldwell County Sheriff's Office also gave us a copy of their dispatcher's calls regarding the crash.
Texas State University.
Hello, this is the Caldwell County Sheriff's Office.
The dispatcher contacts Texas State to check Landry's address off campus. They also call Verizon Wireless to get the location of Jason's cell phone. Verizon gives them coordinates that pinpoint the cell phone on Hoover Street at 2 a.m., nearly 5 miles away from where his car was discovered hours before.
Possible naked dude is plotting in the area of that property. I'm sorry, a possible naked dude? Is this the dude from the car accident? Yeah, that's what the fire guy said.
The next morning, when Jason's father arrives at the towing company, he finds Jason's cell phone inside of the car.
What the heck happened back here?
Something happened to Jason. Nothing should happen between San Marcos and Houston that would cause you this nightmare. I got there about 5 in the morning, and I was the only one there looking for him. Got his phone from the car about 7 in the morning.
Authorities leave behind some of his things on the side of the road. His father finds them the next day as he searched for his son.
This is his toiletry bag. This is his flip-flops. These are Jason's clothes. Lying.
I thought maybe hypothermia because the wind went inside the car, and I think it was chilly.
Since then, the
In Texas, it's
Landrys
usually
have been
hot.
living a nightmare
Hypothermia
that
is
never ends,
typically
not knowing
a
what
drop in
happened to
temperature
Jason.
rather than
Someone
like it
has
being
to know
particularly
something.
cold.
All it's going to
Drop temperature in your body.
I can't imagine that someone else would do this to another family. To have the
I mean, they thought
information,
maybe hogs too. They eat people.
and not share it.
I think there was.
I just can't imagine.
I think there was a
someone
Pondé
that
search with
wholehearted
him. I
not
know.
to- not to help another family.
Kent Landry was an attorney
Yeah.
for many years. He's now a pastor and says they know wherever Jason is, he's with God.
I became an attorney for the same reason I became a pastor. I want to help people. You can help people greatly as an attorney, but the most help you give someone is telling them about Jesus. So the reasoning is the same, to try to help people to make a positive difference in the world, to leave the world a better place.
Yeah, it's hard. Look at the mother, heartbreaking
And it
in
is
her
the
eyes.
prayers of thousands that the Landrys say is getting them through
Hey,
this,
somebody
the
knows something,
nightmare
man.
that
Say
all
something.
parents have. A
Dude,
nightmare
anonymous,
that they know someone
anonymously.
out there has the key to
His,
stop.
his
I
parents
don't know
are.
who you are, and I don't really care.
Yeah, look at the mother.
All I care about
Jeez.
is my son.
That'd be one of the worst things in the world.
And we want to know what happened,
Yeah, to know what happened.
and we want to know where he is. And if you know that, you need to come forward. We set up an anonymous line. I don't care who you are. I care about retribution or revenge. What I care about is my son. This has had to be laying on your heart. And been eating you up from inside. And if you've known this piece of information for this entire time, it's had to be gnawing from inside. So I'm just asking you to let it out. Make one phone call. Let us know where our boy is.
It's horrible to think that something's happened to him and we can't find him. We don't know where he is. We don't know what he's going through right now. I mean, it's just horrible. We know wherever he is, God is with him.
Now their wish is to give a resting place to their son and find justice. The Landrys now have the help of Project Absentees, a nonprofit that helps find the missing. Through interviews and tips, Project Absentees and their former agents are piecing together the puzzle of what happened to the Texas State student.
We've talked to a lot of people in this area along.
This is their private investigator.
County.
They
We talked to
hired.
a lot of people in
He
San
thinks
Marcos.
there's foul
We
play.
do have a fairly good idea what could have happened to Jason.
Information they do not want to make public until state and local authorities have a chance to do their job and tighten the circle around those who may have killed the 21-year-old. Peña took us to see exactly where the last digital footprints of Landry were recorded.
Could have
by
been a
his cell phone.
carjacking
We
going
drove
wrong
that
too.
same path in disbelief that someone who did not live here or know the area would travel this desolate road. This is also the reason Project Absentees is now asking once again for a geofence warrant to be issued.
And it'll tell us the other cell phones that were active in that area. And that gives us some leads that we can then go and possible witnesses that we can identify and then go talk to.
To put it in perspective, the area where his car was found is northwest of Luling. That is the complete opposite direction he would need to take if he was driving home to Missouri City near Houston. He would have taken Highway 183 south to I-10. So after traveling for about 4 miles, the last part of a gravel dirt road, no light out here, the vehicle crashed right here at the street. But this is not where they found the clothes. The clothes were found that way.
I find it hard to believe that you have a car accident, a missing person, and no one found the clothes or the cell phone right away.
Did they do
Is there
dogs?
any doubt in your mind that you will figure out what happened to Jason?
Yeah, we're dedicated to finding out, and I believe very strongly with the team that we have, we're going to find out what happened to Jason.
Answers that his family knows someone is holding back on.
Yeah, they found marijuana here, and I think they jumped to conclusions.
Yep. That's why I didn't want to leave it back. That or he's a delivery boy.
The Landry family tells us they're upset about recent comments the Caldwell County Sheriff's Office made to the media about their son's alleged use of marijuana the night he disappeared, and of the release of Jason's digital footprints, including these Snapchat videos showing their son's interest for pot.
Or like the oxygen part out of the water and been that.
Time for someone else to look at it, or maybe entertain the possibility that someone else was involved. Because Jason's not in the place we've been searching around the accident, don't you at least have to entertain the possibility? I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I don't know that. That's not my job. That's his
if they
job,
ever did
not
that
to judge
geofencing.
my son, is to try to figure out what happened. Well, it hurts. To be honest, it feels like character assassination of my son. And it just doesn't make sense to me. What's the point? Why?
A few months ago, he asked the Attorney General's office to take over the investigation into what happened to his son from the Caldwell County Sheriff's Office. After the county released these videos, pictures, and digital footprints to Fox San Antonio, we asked for an interview, but got an email instead that in part says, we are hopeful that the Texas Attorney General's office newly formed Missing Persons Unit agrees to take this case on and will be meeting with that office in the coming weeks.
I'm not collecting up the clothes, but I'm taking this.
Landry's family is shocked that these videos, Snapchats, and other evidence were released to the media.
I just think judging a 21-year-old who is missing, who
he's
can't
21.
defend themselves, and releasing this and making the comments that he made, Number one, they're hurtful. But as a former criminal attorney, you know, if I were the prosecutor in that county, I would not be happy, because you're assassinating the character of your victim. And that's not law enforcement's job. It's not law enforcement's job to judge us. It's to protect us and to help us, regardless of whether you smoke pot.
Legal now, isn't it?
Left the keys in there and it's all locked up. I'm not smelling any marijuana. That's what they were telling me.
Tomorrow night, we see Jason Landry's last digital footprints, and we hear from the Texas State student in videos he recorded before he headed home for the holidays.
Lead investigator Captain Jeff Ferry says there is no evidence to suggest that this is or will become a criminal case.
There's thousands of images over the area where Jason was believed to have gone missing from over a pretty good timeline.
Newly released video shows Landry FaceTiming a friend in his San Marcos apartment for nearly an hour right before leaving to Missouri City.
We're able to say with confidence that he doesn't stop. He continues his route of travel. He's in the car by himself.
Other video released shows Landry smoking marijuana on Snapchat, something Captain Ferry says is relevant to this case.
You know, people can be participants in criminal activity and still be victims of crime. So that's not our intent in victim blaming. We are able to say that, you know, the things we're releasing because we have confidence that they are directly associated with events tied to Jason Landry being missing.
Captain Ferry says the next step in this investigation is to speak with the Attorney General's office.
They have a new cold case division, and so we're hopeful that they're ready to take this case over.
Well, right now we're following a breaking development in a missing person case that we've been following for almost 2 years now, that of Jason Landry. We just spoke with his father, who confirmed investigators in New York are heading to a hospital to determine if a man who was found unconscious in the Bronx is
I remember this. This is the guy that looks just like him.
So this comes after the NYPD released this photo last night, seeking help to identify that individual. They say he was found Friday night, unconscious and unresponsive on a street in the Bronx with no apparent injuries. And Ken Landry told
it wasn't him. So many of these cases, like, they always see somebody that, looks just like him, and then it turns out it's not. That'd have to be heart-wrenching, for the family. But I thought that they got to send it upon. That may have been another case. That may have been Brandon Swanson. I'm wondering about the geofencing. I'm wondering about did they do scent dogs? And what do the police think? What's the theory? I know their private investigator thinks that there was foul play. I know sometimes, I think he was at a red light. I know sometimes they do that bump thing. They bump you, but I don't know if his bumper was bumped, or maybe he got spooked and then he drove off. Maybe somebody jumped in his car. He let somebody in his car and there was an altercation. But the clothes, him taking off the clothes, do they know that maybe he changed into some clothes, some other clothes, because the weather changed, the weather changed, but he left his slides there. To me, I always thought, first thing I thought of that is that signs of hypothermia. You leave your clothes behind. And there was another case too where it was another young man missing, where I thought it could be hypothermia too. But I think this one could be hypothermia. That's what my first thought went to, hypothermia. Because when hypothermia, when your body temperature drops and does something to your brain, and they call it bargaining, where you, what happens is I don't know why it happens, but it's something with your brain, and you'll get into they'll cram their own body, take their body and cram their own body into a small area, underneath something. And it's crazy. The stuff they can squeeze into, and sometimes that stuff happens. And then, you squeeze into a spot that no one no one knows to, no one even thinks to search. Yeah. So, yeah, I might do a part 2 to this. I'm getting kind of tired. So I think we'll end it here.